will be quite a lengthy reading since it is for the collective. There we go. Get it set up nicely. And this is going to be, again, timeless for whenever you need to hear the messages. And it's also going to be a love story. I am a big fan. If you've never been to my channel before, you don't know. If you have, you're well aware. I love Lucy Cavendish. She is beautiful oracle card creator and just a spiritual warrior. So I'm going to be using 3 of her decks, my favorite decks from her. The Oracle of the Shapeshifters deck, and we have the Oracle of the Shadows and Lights deck. They all tell a very, cryptic story and have a lot of cool messages. And then, in homage to the first deck I ever purchased from her, the Fairy Tale Oracle deck, I'll be using this as well. Then I will be using 2 of my DIY decks, the Disney DIY and Love and Lyrics deck. So for the first card, guys, let's go ahead and light up your candles while I give you guys a few messages. So while I was meditating and just feeling as if this message needed to come through, and forgive the fan in the background. We're in California, very hot, 2nd floor, no air conditioning, so I'm going to deal with that sound, have it be your white noise. But this definitely is for somebody who wants to hear from their karmic partner. Let me turn that off, actually. Go ahead and get your candles lit. And apologies for the fan. You guys, I will sweat it out just so you don't have that noise in the background. So when I was meditating for this reading, I really feel that it is, even if for one person, it is like not a desperation, like you're desperate because you're feeling unwanted. I feel like it is a desperation between the 2 parties, whether or not, again, I believe that a word is just a word. Feelings cannot be put into or boxed into categories, in my opinion. So whether or not you consider this person to be a karmic partnership, if you consider this person to be, a twin flame, which, look at that, it keeps on lighting so bright, right? There we go. So there you go. That might have been your sign right there. You can click off the video. If you consider this person to be something of what a twin flame, a soulmate, a karmic partnership is described of, or as, of course, technically, there are different types of connections and, people that we can align with in this lifetime that can bring forth growth in our spiritual awareness project. Our path to enlightenment can be a kindred spirit and help us to unlock some of our potential or see within them, if we're talking about maybe a twin flame description, see within them a mirrored reflection of perhaps some shadow work or, highlights, some pros and cons, some mirrored reflections, some exact, identical energy, mannerisms, problems, feelings, beliefs that perhaps you were either subconsciously or, consciously suppressing or repressing, just either subconsciously or consciously stuffing down any information or any kind of truth. And I feel when you meet someone who, again, can be labeled as a twin flame or, a very, very sacred and karmically bonded soul on this earth, whether or not you want to label it and whether or not indeed your partner, the person you came to find out any messages from about love today, if it is what you consider to be a soulmate, a true love, karmic relationship or a twin flame. It doesn't matter what you call it. Every single one of those labels, if you are going to label your partner or people throughout your life, that is equal playing field as far as for the lessons and the, enrichment and benefits that we can hold dear and take with us. So if we're talking about twin flame, the message for you guys is two hearts that beat as one is a soulmate, a twin flame, a karmic relationship, a partnership. Both of you have a purpose with one another, and whether or not that is to cut the cords to a karmic bond that, needs to come to its rightful end, or whether or not that is meeting a person who absolutely, springs you forward in your spiritual journey, in your spiritual awakening experience. If this is any label at all, if you have love for them, they have love for you, and that is big time with this message. I also took a few notes after meditating, and I don't know how much we will get to, but I put a tale of two hearts, and forgive my ignorance, my daughters love, theater. I think A Tale of Two Cities, is that Shakespeare, or is that, I think it is a production. I've never seen it, but that came to me just to show you that spirit will communicate whatever message is meant to get to somebody, and I am a conduit, just somebody who is able to, breach that veil and get the messages to you. So if that means anything to you, A Tale of Two Cities, I also thought, of course, it could be a sign for me to relay the message to you that could be the separation between the partner. This love of your life, this love story is at a standstill because perhaps, you're separated by location, two different cities. And so another message that I want to relay to you guys before we get going on the reading and the love story is I got so far deep as a channel downloaded message, so far gone. And this is in a good way, but almost in a delirious way. Makes sense, of course. We still have Neptune, which rules Pisces, the elusive, dreamy, sometimes delusional, sometimes rose-colored glasses, completely spiritually, unconditionally compassionate in love. That can definitely sweep you off your feet type of energy. So I feel like you're enmeshed, you're entangled with this connection. It is something that never leaves you, even when, of course, you get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, or you are trying to present at work, or you are in the, car in a conversation that is very, focused and driven about a certain topic that has nothing to do with love. And for some reason, I always use the sign. It's like a tattoo on your third eye. This connection is so far deep. It's so far gone that it's enmeshed. So you are so sure of this feeling. And I want to let you know, if you're coming here for this message, anybody who hears this, they are the same exact wavelength as you know. The eyes don't lie. So that connection, that feeling, that realization, that actualization, when it was that time, and that you think right now in your mind of something, of that one moment, maybe many, in which you were locked in an almost trance, in a magnetic, entanglement, a complete trance of staring into your partner's eyes. Of course, the eyes are the window to the soul. And when there is a soul connection, maybe a recognition from past life, if you subscribe to that, I do. Namaste if you don't. But if there is a familiar, kinship, if there is that feeling that is truly indescribable, poets have tried to do it justice, and I am just trying to give you some divinely guided messages, but there is no word, is what I want to tell you. There is no word. There are but beautiful objects, like, the cylindrical shapes that we have, the flowers that grow, the light that we can use for energy and to light candles. This is something, again, that is somewhat of an obsessive nature. Again, that Piscean Neptunian feeling, that act first, think later attitude. I just feel like it is just, again, a magnetic grip. This entanglement is just irreversible. It's irresistible and irreversible. So whatever you label this partner as, even if it's a partner or person that you question, and that's a big message with this reading. If you're questioning whether or not it is the same for them, if they're thinking the same way, yes. And it is not me wanting to, just plug rose-colored glass, I'm a Pisces sun, messages onto you. I truly feel if you came to this reading, your two hearts beat as one, like that old song, like two hearts have always beat as one, is what I wanted to share with you guys. And then there's one song before we get to your reading, and this is one of my favorite crystals. It looks like a heart. It's I Only Think of You on Two Occasions. So this person's message, one of their storylines that they hope gets to you through, the universe, is I only think of you on two occasions, and that is day and night. And the lyric I wrote down is, I'd go for broke if I could be with you, only you can make it right. So I feel like one person, as usual, with runners and chasers, if you're dealing with any kind of, love story, whether it's twin flame, whatever you label it as, I feel somebody who is wanting a message today, whenever you come to listen to this, it is all about someone having to make a choice, someone having to be the one who really sacrifices. And it doesn't mean sacrifice love and happiness. It's actually sacrificing, I feel, for somebody else, maybe making a situation, third party situation, wrap up, perhaps getting over the fear of such a strong connection. Okay, this popped right out, so we'll put this here. And isn't that perfect? The eclipse mermaid, a powerful energy shift. Absolutely. I feel like the powerful energy shift has been going on. We are, right in the middle of Cancer season as I film this. It's timeless, but Cancer season, July 2021. It is indicative, of course, of emotions, of deep down water sign, nurturing, mothering, home, family, tidings, connectivity that is intimate. And we've had quite a few powerful eclipses that have, intermingled with the Uranus and Saturn square and a whole bunch of big, huge happenings in the astrological world. So the eclipse mermaid, yes, and it's all about the moon, the season that we're in right now. So this love reading number 10 breaks down to one, right? Two hearts that beat as one. This is indicative of why I did want to do this reading. I feel like it is so powerful, and people, I feel, are either scrambling and dealing with it or escaping, as water signs do, right? Cancers. I'm a Pisces. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Pisces, most notably, are notorious for immersing themselves in everything but the problem in order for them to kind of soothe their, aching heart and ruminating emotional mindset and that monkey mind that comes in. So I feel like even if you're not a Pisces, I feel like if you came today to get any messages, any positive divine signs or messages that can guide you, I totally thank you. And I feel like it was meant to be, and that it was because you're feeling this powerful energy shift, and you're more than likely a really assertive person, and perhaps you don't come to get many messages, or perhaps you do, and you're just truly wondering if the shift that you've noticed, perhaps even, telepathically. I know that there are people in this world that I am so close to, and other people, of course, have shared their stories. You legitimately don't have to have a telephone. You can be under the moon, right? like that song Bruno Mars, Talking to the Moon, in hopes that you are somewhere thinking of me too. Or am I a fool that sits alone talking to the moon and you're not a fool? And I think this person, whomever you are thinking of, is definitely questioning, as you are, whether or not this energy shift is something palpable, is going to actually be a breakthrough, is going to be that, you know, deciding factor, is what I just got. Which at the end of the world, an important and a new beginning. So yes, this love story is, I think, at a very critical point, almost like critical mass event coming, you know. I don't want to say hopefully, but yeah, hopefully there is a tower moment. If there needed to be a union, if there needed to be some, you know, breakup, if there needed to be some clarification, if there needed to be some work done on a relationship that was stagnant and or was, you know, not equal as far as give and take, if there needed to be an energy shift powerfully in any direction, I am almost positive, like many people that I've given private readings and just soul sisters and people that have reached out, it is the time to deal with it and for it to be a enormous change, an enormous shift, and things definitely, I mean, you know, I can say it a million times over, but it is so true that things that need to be put to rest, things that need to be weeded out of the garden so you can leave the garden for the gate, open the gate, and go explore into the great unknown. There are new beginnings that are waiting for you, and the new beginnings need to have that destruction, right? Need to have this all-knowing yin-yang Shiva. Destruction leads to birth, leads to creation. We have to break down structures in order to build foundations and structures that are, you know, for the betterment of our soul purpose, our soul journey. And I feel like if you came to this reading, your love story is changing in some way. Now, whether or not that is bridging the gap between you two that was unspoken for years or months or decades, and it was a situation that just could not, you know, maybe like when Harry met Sally, I just got that whole thing where it's not as if anyone is doing anything on purpose. It's kind of like that flirtatious, I know that there's a bond there, but maybe someone was with somebody else, or maybe the timing wasn't right, career-wise, location. I feel like right now there's a powerful energetic shift that is changing the tides, completely flipping it opposite. So if you were, you know, having somebody ghost you, if you were the runner, you'll become the chaser. If you were the chaser, you'll become the runner. If you were content in a stale and toxic relationship because you weren't dealing with any of these truths and realizations that have been coming up lately, because we are forced to look at things we don't even want to pay attention to at times. A lot of people have been telling me that. So there's your sign. Big yes, big engine. So big egos. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who's prideful, like a Leo, who has big ego, who has to, you know, make his claim heard in a tangible show-off way. And maybe it's time for that energy to dissipate. Maybe they also, of course, everyone on this planet is going through energy shifts, whether or not they are attributing this to, you know, what it is, and it's an all-encompassing thing, mental, physical, spiritual, right? Or if they are in denial, no matter, they're, you know, still processing and still doing the work that they laid out to do, right? And so I feel as if they too can feel an enormous weight, either that has been put down on their shoulders that they have to deal with and cut free, or an enormous weight has been lifted and they have an epiphany or some sort of, you know, plan, strategy, tangible steps in order to get to a place in which it's just like you guys get up and nothing is needed except for each other's presence. This sort of, important ending happens. Tower moment, even tragic as it may be, perhaps, it won't be the end of the world. It's that one song, Melt With Me, like, to the end of the world. This is how important I think this union is. I do feel, of course, as usual, with any positive, loving vibrations that connect, even with my mom and myself, best friend, she's beautiful. She is, I call people like that a generator or a battery charger. It's inevitably, when you are with people who vibe to the same frequency, who are definitely never going to wish ill upon you, are rooting for you even when you're at your worst, when you are loved unconditionally, even when you don't love yourself, from another soul that is partnered with you in this present existence on earth, that is something that can definitely raise the vibration of everything around you, therefore creating, luck and creating abundant situations that are fruitful, that are going to benefit. And this could be monetary, this can be, emotional, with other people around you. Love spreads, and love is, unlike a virus, it doesn't infect people with an illness. It infects people with joy and a giddiness and purpose and, compassion and perspective that is always different. Because when we love, we learn to accept perhaps what we don't understand or are not innately prone to do or act like. And that is just, tempering our own attitudes, like the Temperance card, the Sagittarius, balancing out that love for self and love for all that we are a part of. This one is number 24. This has been coming up a lot. Lucky number 24. It's one of the numbers, actually. Let me see if I have it. Oh, I found 23. Some of the numbers for you: 23, 17, 9, 2012, 2014, 2020. But this is 24. I was really surprised I didn't write it down. I was really channeling 24. So whether or not that means that the full moon in Aquarius is coming, if you do see this currently, as I am releasing it, July 2021, that is right around the full moon in Aquarius. Huge, 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 because Jupiter will be retrograde back in Aquarius, dipping back in Aquarius from its stint in Pisces. And so we have a lot of emphasis on humongous, humanitarian, and type of invention, wacky type of professor, the nutty professor, but with like Thor's hammer, like come down with a, real strong sense of purpose. So this full moon around the 24th of July, if you are reading it now, or if 24 means anything to you, a clear solution will become clear. So just like the lantern lights your way, I feel like your story, your love story, is definitely taking a turn that is going to be, again, a 180, maybe even 360. And I feel like whatever it is, whether it's ending something or beginning, and again, it says you have both, so maybe that resonates with some of you for both ending and a beginning, a solution in order to light your path and light the way, the road less traveled. So if there is going to be a lot of, work, of course, and effort that is really tough, maybe effort that has to do with flack from other people, I sense that maybe previously or perhaps now, the end that needs to come is the worry about judgment from other people. Perhaps this is a partnership of like generation gap or a race difference, maybe religious separate, agendas. I don't know what it could be. Perhaps it is totally just different walks of life. And maybe it is regarding family, maybe somehow, some way, the true love of your life ended up to be your partner's sibling or father. Far-fetched, I know. However, love is blind, and love sometimes comes at you in very peculiar ways in order to teach you, God knows, the lessons that are there at that point about sacrifice and judgment and being true to yourself and your heart chakra. And self-love is putting your needs first without any ill intent toward others. So loving is akin to light, and this light, I feel, the lantern fairy, a clear solution. Whenever you hear this, number 24, a clear solution on how to get clarification, wisdom, and I feel solace regarding this partnership. I feel this is definitely the time. I was guided to do this reading because I felt as if there is a change that either has been noticed or someone is just in agony with a heartache waiting for it, not in a pathetic way. I just mean adorably desperate, just waiting for something to change. And I feel like this energy, whether it's you or this other person, is so lighthearted, so, positively intended, and does not have any ulterior motives. And I feel as if there hasn't been a clear solution. There hasn't been a clear pathway forward. There hasn't been an ending to things that needed to come to an ending. And whether or not that is another relationship, maybe with both of you, maybe that is an ending to, again, the self-doubt and fear when it comes to such a strong love that I'm feeling. Again, whatever you label it as. Sometimes, unfortunately, some of our solution is to detach and be frightful and be fearful. Oh, there's my phone. There's like the sign for you. And at other times, we go too hard. We go too obsessive. So if you're obsessing over it, it's so hard, especially when it's such a strong, constant flow of energy and feeling and connectivity and familiarity. But the solution is to either back off if you feel you're putting too much gas on the gas pedal, or if you feel as if if this resonates with you, you know that it's you. If you feel as if you've detached because you are afraid in some way, even if it's subconscious, you are afraid of such a strong connection because of trust issues, because perhaps you don't have room for it, or you feel that you don't have room for it in your life. Perhaps the timing isn't right, and you don't want to engage in something that is considered nefarious for you, or something that, wouldn't be attainable because you're sticking to your values, something like that. I feel like there is a clear solution now that will, tie up your morals and your needs into one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get 3 of the Fairy Tale Oracle cards and continue with your love story, guys. So, number 8, Puss in Boots, Wit. So, the love story that we have here takes a lot of wit and intelligent creative planning, I think, in order for whatever needs to be ended, whatever has shifted energetically, whatever is going to be the answer to questions or answer to, living arrangements, answers to, tying up the shoelaces or loose ends, whatever, boundaries need to be set, perhaps, or, relationships that need to be evaluate it and see whether or not they are enriching and empowering you in a fair and, equal exchange of intimacy type of way. There is a very witty personality, either you or this person, and it is very indicative of somebody who is like the Puss in Boots on this card, someone who can, be a firecracker in a small package, somebody who can be elusive, or I want to say I always read air sign for this card, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, someone who is able to detach. And again, that brings in true to the story of perhaps someone's solution in this fairy tale love story, love partnership, attachment to this energy that is so on fire and very, very blazing. It is intense. Maybe the solution was to pretend and be witty, or pretend that this flirtation is just that, is not as deep. Perhaps somebody was wearing a mask to the other party, pretending, and just, surprise, Puss in Boots is actually, a champion swordsman, right? I mean, it's just, I think that the solution or the energy shift may be that you will get information, or you will feel now, if this is you, that you are able to give information, trusting that it will be received, with no judgment and with open arms. And I definitely feel as if there's going to be some clarification and a lot of answers will come, as far as, oh, that is why, you didn't do A, B, or C. You didn't call on this, or you didn't message this. All of your wondering and your assumptions and your intuition and your premonitions about whether or not, they at that time were thinking of you. Do they have, meditative states in which they try to astral project and, dance with you, things that are really deep that I've heard from so many people. I feel as if this person has done a lot to cover up, Puss in Boots, like wolf in sheep's clothing, but not a wolf as far as someone who is dangerous. A lone wolf that is just afraid perhaps to trust, so it puts up a detached air and boundary, a wall that is not indicative of how they truly feel. So that could be you or them. This is the Children of Lear, number 37 voice. So somebody for sure has been ghosting or has not told their true intentions or true feelings or true intensity, of feeling, has not had, I want to say, the mechanism, the voice. They don't have the communication skills or comfortability with being vulnerable with expression in that way. And I feel like this, perhaps if you're still listening to this, is why you came to get this message today, is to tell you that the voice, although unheard, can't be masked if you think back about the eyes, the stare, the intensity, the window of the soul. The eyes cannot lie. The people can lie. They can pretend. They can, put walls between themselves, emotions, and people. There's also two swans here in this card. There is a swan spirit animal video if you want to check it out. Thought that definitely, of course, swans are indicative of love and commitment, so maybe there'll be some messages in there. This one is Sleeping Beauty and Awakening, number 32, for sure. So the energy shift, of course, and this ending, whatever it needs to be, and this new beginning is beautiful. And this answer, the solution, right? And all of this unspoken sentiment, and all of this, having to put a parchment paper in between. I saw like those, of course, those COVID, right? Those COVID, like those little plastic see-through plexiglass things that are everywhere. It's like that was all it was. You can see right through to the truth. The person cannot hide behind their eyes. However, perhaps they were asleep, Or, purposely, people like to be asleep. People like to be sedated. So this person was purposely feel like suppressing their true inner voice and letting them know that this is definitely something that cannot be avoided. This is a partnership that is absolutely imperative for your journey and for your spiritual awakening, is unlocking, I feel now, even as you process this. If you're not in contact with this person, or if you do, you're learning a lot more about yourself and about how you are, I feel, a part of each situation, and how you feel really, and your actions, of course, really does make an impact on that person. So perhaps you held back your voice to them. Perhaps you held up a wall. Perhaps it's been an energy shift in which you want to tell them that rather than them tell you. Regardless, this love story is beautiful because all it takes is for one person to budge, right? One person to break the dam down. All right, guys, this is going to be out of the last deck for Lucy Cavendish, and then I'll get you the 2 cards. We're almost wrapping up, but love story, regardless on what is going on with you in your path currently, is definitely taking a turn, a complete hairpin U-turn on a windy road. And so hang tight and just be true to your voice, and make sure that if you're able to express it, if you're the expressive one in the partnership, let your partner know. Even if you just write it in a message, let them know, like I would. This is just my advice, that you can see through, right? Just like that plexiglass. You can see through that you're going through an awakening, and you know that they are absolutely in the same spot as you are, wanting answers, wanting a clear solution, to at least talk and have closure, to sum up why, or just talk to each other. Sometimes validation, right, from therapists, and in this case, validation from a partner that you're connected with, that tells you finally, yeah, I felt that, and it can be or it can't be, but at least there is a solution because there's clarification, there's closure, there's an end to wondering, right? That card, the second card, an end and a new beginning. So maybe this energy shift is a new understanding that your twin flame, or your soulmate, or your karmic partnership has run its course, or is actually something that you needed, and you've really truly thought that you can avoid this. Okay, guys, there we go. All right. This is the Golden Phoenix. So number 12, something you thought finished bursts back into life. So definitely, just as this card said, the energy shift with an ending and a beginning and a solution, it is for sure indicative of this card. The Phoenix burst back into life from the ashes. What was incinerated, or what was thought to be destroyed, incinerated, burnt to a crisp, completely evaporated, right, comes back even stronger with a more spiritual knowing and, environmentally symbiotic purpose to connect with love and with power and with determination, even more so, to not give up, right? Even when you're burned. So if this feeling has left you, like let it burn type feeling, something you thought finished burst back into life. So perhaps this person communicates with you for the first time, or you do to them. Perhaps you're able to have a moment, or we're all being forced to have these moments of looking at truly what we want, what is best for us, what soothes our soul rather than hinders and or deflates our bubble, right? So the Golden Phoenix talks about what is dead never truly dies, right? Just like the second card, something ends, right? And then a new rebirth of the golden phoenix. We'll take you on to the next chapter of the story, guys. Okay, that is beautiful. So for the first one, go ahead and just pick one. This is the Disney DIY deck, and you got Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow is part of your love story, guys. It says, if all else fails, drink rum. Maybe not the best message for Cancer season water sign, right? To escape into substance. However, maybe that is exactly what this person makes you feel, or vice versa. Love drunk, or like red wine, it goes to your head. This feeling of love, of connectivity, it goes to your head, and it will not stop intoxicating you, inebriating you. I feel as if maybe it's so strong and powerful, one or the other wants to run toward a habit, you know, something that is an addiction, even shopping. Doesn't have to be substance, maybe it is drinks, to not so much, you know, not saying they have a problem or you have a problem, just because it's that emotionally impactful. For instance, I always speak openly. I definitely am an addict because I did not have a problem until my father died, and I emotionally was impacted big time and chose for my path to escape and to cope in an unhealthy way, drinking wine and taking Xanax. And so that to me was the same feeling I'm getting here, just that feeling of wanting to quench such a horrendous hole in your heart. So I feel like whatever the case may be, whatever status your partnership is in right now, there is somebody who has definitely felt something is missing, something is off, you're unsure of, or there's just a hole in your heart, and it definitely is aching. So someone has taken you or your vessel captive. So perhaps you are enamored right now, again, that intoxicating feeling. Maybe you have tried to shove this down, and we have, of course, these retrograde planets, Neptune and Jupiter, and it is being again forced upon us to take a look at. So if you are being held captive, you feel, by these changing energy shifts and what you're having to look at, join the club, jump on the Titanic. Don't worry, hopefully we'll get off on a lifeboat when the iceberg sinks us, right? Honestly. Stolen identity is also on this card. So I read that as sometimes, again, if you're talking about a mirrored reflection, you know, you see your soul in them, twin soul, twin flame type of partnership. I feel as if sometimes we are put off by their behavior, not realizing that we are mirroring, we are just as responsible and take part in that behavior ourselves, right? To attract it to ourselves. We are projecting it out, right? And so stolen identity could just be that you see their similarity, their, you know, likeness with your good traits, and also your traits that you need to do healing work on, or work on in general. And so another message is encroachment of your personal space. So perhaps, again, it's like that message I always get, you're, you know, on my heart just like a tattoo. Maybe it is, I've definitely understood this concept. I've heard it time and time again, where people get frustrated after a while if there is no way to be with a twin flame, or if they are not just interested in any kind of commitment and it caught them off guard, or maybe they didn't believe in any of this, you know, connectivity or telepathy or karmic partnerships. And it gets to a point where a lot of people tell me, you know what, this is just encroaching on my space. How do I dip out of this? How do I back out? And the truth is, you can't, when it's something that is unspoken and is through the universe, right? It is sometimes an encroachment on our personal space, because we have to take a look at the facts, you know, of the unexpected emotional construct that comes upon us when we fall into true love. And the last message is, took over your spoils and took credit for a bounty. So maybe this person may have detached and moved on, or you did, detached and moved on to, you know, what do they say, like the person right after you break up with somebody that just, you moved on, or they moved on to something that is kind of like a pacifier, or something that they wanted to maybe even make come to fruition to something that they can work with or be in a relationship with. But I feel as if it is just that two hearts that beat as one. They, you know, can never, it's like the irreplaceable vibe. They feel as if, and maybe that angers them or angers you, they feel as if they just can't ever reach the mark of that bond, that incredible kinship that was shared. And so perhaps they, or you, or both, are, you know, worried sick over the fact that the spoils are going, that energy is going to someone else. But don't worry, the message is kind of whack, but it's true. The spoils won't go to anybody else because this energy is so divine and so particular. There's millions of different kinds of love, right, in the spectrum. And I feel as if you come to a reading or the internet or anywhere, counselor, anything, a friend, and you're thinking about this person, that person is thinking about you, and that person can never have that same electric spark and that same familiarity, that same kind of exhilaration. Oops, here's your first one. Or that uplifting excitement in the same exact way ever again. So it's the same for you as them. And interesting. Okay. I'm Still in Love with You by New Edition. That's funny. I'm still in love with you. You should look up the lyrics. This is my love and lyrics deck. Old song by New Edition. I'm still in love with you. So there's your message, or your message to them. And then Shallow. We're out of the shallow now by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. So perhaps the energy shift is going to bring you from the shallows into deeper waters, deeper love, deeper emotion, deeper connectivity, deeper intimacy. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the love story collective reading for partnerships of any kind. Again, namaste, no matter how you label it. I feel as if they are just words, and the dynamic should be celebrated and, you know, examined for the properties that you can learn and, you know, benefit from, rather than speculating and spending time trying to analyze exactly what my love is, and if my love is this, then what action should I make? It's all inside of you. It's your inner guidance. It's your internal compass. It is your energy, you know, your frequency, your living light that is vibrating, and it is your choice whether or not you want to accept and be in the company and be harmonic with somebody else's vibrations, you and only you. So guys, blessing, live, and light. I so thank you from the bottom of my heart from everything that you have been doing, subscribing. It's amazing. Comments and liking the videos, and everything that, of course, you do via email or on Instagram. Everything is always appreciated, and I send you guys nothing but positive vibes always, even if I'm cranky during this Cancer season. I'll just bounce back. Resilience, right? Resilience is also a message for you guys in love. Blessings, love, light, always, guys. Bye-bye.